Hello and welcome to MonetaPro, enterprise platform for corporate barter. MonetaPro is an enterprise SaaS platform on award-winning technology with an experienced management team. And the market for MonetaPro is $17 trillion of what's called non-cash trading or corporate barter. This is where big companies like an automobile company like Ford will trade cars for computers, airlines, media. These big companies trade with partners that they already know and trust. And in the United States, 72% of Fortune 500 companies participate globally. But there's a problem that we're attacking. The number one way these trades occur is manually, one to one. If you want to trade cars for computers, you have to identify a partner, establish value, negotiate, consummate. There's no tracking and reporting the trade, and you have to report it for each trade individually. And it's so complicated, people might say, why not just sell for cash? Well, there's tremendous financial leverage in corporate barter. It's also called offsets, it's called swaps and flips. It goes by a lot of names. But let's say you own a car company and you have $1 million worth of inventory and you need to put it on sale at the end of the year. So you discount it 20% and you sell it. You've lost 80% of the value. You still pay taxes on that. And then if you want to acquire new items, say computers, you have to spend cash to acquire that asset. If you could trade, counter trade, offset, corporate trade, if you could trade $1 million worth of cars for computers, both companies book at full retail. It's not a discounted market, it's a full trade market. In the United States and some other countries, it's potentially tax-free. You have $1 million sale or revenue written off against $1 million expense. So now you've earned tremendous value and tax-free, and you've acquired the assets without actually spending cash. So the financial leverage is tremendous, but the trade systems need to evolve. Not one-to-one, but multi-party. And this is global. This is some of the largest consulting firms in the world with papers saying manual processes tie up resources for trade, no audit, no tracking, complex moving parts, there's penalties, cross-border currency issues. Indeed, corporate barter's stuck in the old days of barter. If you remember, how did barter start? Commerce. I've got chickens, you've got milk, let's trade. If you want chickens and I don't want milk, we needed portability, we needed money. The moneta seashell is the first forms of portable currency ever. This is how money was created. And money provides not only portability, it provides potential stability and audit reporting. You can actually track where things go, who bought them, who acquired them. That's what MonetaPro is. We're an enterprise solution, a B2B marketplace. And I want to do a quick comparison. Think about Amazon. Almost everybody in the world understands Amazon. But what is Amazon very simply? It's an online marketplace, right? You go to a website. It's hosted remotely. You don't have to do anything. You just go to the website. It's a single sign-on, meaning you have a username and password. It's primarily business to consumer. It's an $84 average sale, and there's nothing within Moneta or nothing within Amazon that's blockchain related. It's a marketplace that's done really, really well. Let's jump over to MonetaPro. Same thing, we've built a B2B marketplace. It's hosted actually on Amazon Web Services, but we've built what we'll show you in a minute called a hierarchy. We're going to business transactions, a 1.5 million average transaction, and again, no blockchain. The marketplace itself exists on traditional technology that we've built at an enterprise level. Jump back to Amazon real quick. If you've ever bought or sold anything in Amazon, you have an order history. And you can click and you can actually see that order history. You can't download it. It doesn't integrate, doesn't manage or communicate. Well, businesses don't work that way. We've actually written our order history, our invoice form to the IBM blockchain. The blockchain component for MonetaPro is in the asset management side. It's hosted, one of the first in the world, on Amazon's managed blockchain service. We've integrated into SAP and Oracle, which means when a company transfers assets, we can actually go into these big accounting modules and not only update the record and transfer the asset record, but also provide an audit trail using blockchain to prove that asset was transferred from one party to another. So let me show you what enterprise level means. Again, Amazon, single sign-on, username and password. MonetaPro, Corporate hierarchies, divisions, departments, rights and authorities. Can you buy, sell, search, add departments? Again, corporate controls. Each company, each division, department, each location has their own customizable homepage. They can actually create assets and put it on a page. The add product, the learning curve. Click, add product, fill out a form. A lot of business logic built in. Once your assets are in, you can actually click and update them. See your assets. You can change them. You can change price. And now, for the first time ever in corporate trade, you can actually search and acquire items. It's no longer phone, fax, email. It's, oh, do I need computers? How many people are selling them? Here's a full list of people selling computers, and here's a drill down to more information and actually acquire within the system. So again, MonetaPro has built an enterprise level marketplace. Then again, the blockchain component, if a company sells an asset, their accounting module, SAP, Oracle, these big accounting systems are now out of balance, out of compliance. They need to be updated. We write our invoice to the IBM Hyperledger, actually Hyperfabric. We can go in and not only update the accounting module, we can remove the asset records, and we can transfer that asset record into the acquirer's record. And then we write a blockchain contract to prove the asset was transferred. You just can't remove $1 million worth of inventory and not prove it was transferred. So the audit trail, compliance, inventory management, we believe we're the first company in the world that's really gone live with an enterprise level solution and an integrated blockchain solution for that. So what we've created is what's called multi-party trading. Again, instead of this one-to-one, I've got cars, you've got computers, let's trade. We built an internal tracking credit. We call it a G-Buck for $1. Everybody in the world knows what a buck is in the US. We created something, the acronym stands for a general business usage credit. It's like a trade finance credit, where now we create portability where a company can sell assets, receive a trade credit back as value, and then use that credit to go buy assets from other parties. And again, this G-Buck, I need to be very clear. It's not a blockchain credit. It's not a token. It doesn't fluctuate on value. Think of it like a store credit. If Alibaba or Amazon gave you $1,000 store credit, it works only inside. It's immediate financial settlement. It's portable among members of the group, but it's not traded externally. It's technically what's called a closed loop payment system. So we've created with this G-Buck, this business credit, the ability for multi-party trading, and the credit can be moved around. So again, a little visual example. Here's a company potentially like Ford, has a car department. They sell cars to IBM, receive the G-Bucks back. Here's a trucking department, sells trucks to Maersk Shipping, receives the credits. Those credits can now be moved up into procurement through the hierarchy and reassigned to travel, parts, supply. We've built a portability within the transaction system using this trade finance credit called a G-Buck. Again, management, highly qualified. I've built 11 companies. We've had 3 that were public. Again, OTC, small cap, but great companies. Management, our COO's actually taken his company public, his prior company on NASDAQ. Jay helped build billion-dollar divisions out of Sony. Rick Prendergast built a Salesforce for American Express. Technical director, a couple other great guys. And then advisors. We've got corporate advisors, former CIO of BlackRock, CMO of Kodak, head of global card operations at First Data, head of MasterCard. And then we've got specific blockchain technology advisors as well. Go-to-market strategy, unique, direct, but I like to create a differentiation. A lot of people, especially in corporate, don't like the word barter. And we don't either. We define barter as really small business, where corporate trade is enterprise. Barter, B2C, business to consumer, printer, auto mechanic, your local restaurant. They might be using a website or a directory or some sort of small barter club that's local. They're using an accounting system like QuickBooks, and they're out shopping on Amazon. Corporate trade, completely different. These are the global multinational 2000. These are the largest companies in the world. If they're doing corporate barter, they're using third-party providers, third-party brokers. They're using SAP or Oracle as their primary accounting system. MonetaPro wants to be that marketplace for corporate trade versus barter, which we define as smaller transactions. So we've identified the top industries: airlines, automotive, heavy equipment. These are the biggest industries in the world that have a history of trading assets. And we did our research and said, hey, let's find who are the largest 2,000 companies in the world. Which ones exist in the industries we're targeting? There's 987. We found evidence of trading. We have relationships. We said, what's our top 10? And here's some of the companies we've gone after. Some we're in discussions with, some are early, some are pretty far along. But globally, this is the industry and these are the size of companies that we've targeted. And basically it's under supply chain or marketing. The revenue model for these companies, we've positioned ourselves as a SaaS application, meaning software as a service. So we have an onboarding fee, a monthly fee, and a percent of the transaction based on the total sale. Now, again, if anybody knows anything about enterprise, these are levers. You can actually increase the amount of volume you allow the company to have before you charge the transaction fee. This could go to 20 or 30 or 40 million to offset their onboarding. There's things you can do to move around the revenue model, but again, positioned as an enterprise software, which makes us attractive. So the value proposition for the companies, wrapping up here, we solve three main problems. The existing method right now for these companies: singular, manual, no inventory updates, no proof of ownership, no transfer. On MonetaPro, we're a closed loop platform, integration into the asset modules, and use an IBM and Amazon managed blockchain service for the audit trails. And so we provide a huge enterprise value, a global marketplace, closed loop, private, transaction, transparency, liquidity with buyers and sellers, the portability of the G-Bucks, and the blockchain compliance provides inventory and audit trail that these companies don't have now. And it's a value proposition we created called ELT equals V: efficiency, liquidity, and trust. The efficiency, again, having the ability to list something in a marketplace, sell it to a third party, receive the trade credits, and go buy something else, is not only a better efficiency, it's a liquidity, especially if you're transacting with the partners you already know and trust. We're looking at companies that have a history of trading with known partners so we can bring in that entire supply chain with a lot of volume. Great milestones along the way. We make a joke in the United States in a positive way. We're the JD Powers of blockchain, meaning we've actually won more contests around the world in blockchain than any other company on the planet. This was in 2018, 2019 when we were building the system, and we're really trying to see, was there a market? Were we doing something unique? Started a lot of conversations. We've got ongoing conversations with some of the biggest companies in the world: Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Maersk, IBM. We actually integrated and partnered with IBM. We have some service provider conversations as well. We're positioning MonetaPro potentially as something like SAP or Oracle, where the service providers could sell MonetaPro Enterprise to their existing customers and really help us scale worldwide. Recent milestones: Artist Trade Corp, 30-year lending company. They've done barter over $1 billion in trade, but everything again was offline, manual. We've done a transaction deal with them for them to start bringing their customers and clients in. So we're at the early stages of onboarding some of our first revenue customers. And Shepherd Mullen, one of the top 50 law firms in the world, we're doing some intellectual property filing with and some IP around some really unique things we're doing in blockchain. And what's the offer? So what's the company status? Systems are complete, undergoing beta testing, active pipeline of large corporations, history of existing trading, executive experience management team, and industry-specific domain advisors that are active and engaged. Private invitation: we've got a $1.5 million token round priced at 5 cents. We've already hit some milestones, raised 3.5 in seed money already, put the management team in place, systems are ready to go. Use of proceeds really to expand the sales force, create onboarding, bring on more team, upgrade our systems, really roll out and make MonetaPro a global success. Last, did you miss out on Amazon? We like these interesting comparisons. Amazon's done amazing. They're in a $1 trillion market of what's called retail commerce. Average sales $82. Their total revenue is about $220 billion. Amazon's still got a huge way to go because they're in a big market, and obviously they've done well with a $1 trillion market cap. MonetaPro, we don't compete with Amazon, but from a market scope, we like to show this. A lot of times investors say, oh, we don't like when you compare yourself to Amazon or Google. I like the comparison from a market standpoint, not a competitive standpoint. Size of the market for MonetaPro, 17 trillion. It's a corporate barter. We're in a completely different space. The average trade or transaction, because it's B2B, is actually 1.5 million, and we could potentially get to top line revenue and sales very quickly because some of these large companies are already doing corporate trade, corporate barter, and offsets. We just want to move that transaction volume into the system. So again, I'm Stephen Mead. That's MonetaPro. Would love to hear from you. We've got an online demo. Any questions or information, feel free to reach out again. Stephen Mead with MonetaPro.